Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to be back. I did miss a week, but here I am, ready to present another video for you guys this week. And I'm sure you saw from the title that we're discussing the nervous system and how pretty much every disease stems from stress. So here's the thing with our nervous system. It affects how we respond to things in our environment. It affects how our body responds internally, because the nervous system is going to determine whether you are in a state of ease or in a state of stress. The first years of our life shape the way that our nervous system responds. For example, as early as conception until about 7 or 8 years old is when our nervous system is being imprinted. This can even go back generations if you want to get into the more metaphysical side of things, because we actually do carry trauma from our ancestors in our DNA. But just for the sake of this video, to make it more simple, we're going to discuss the traumas that we are imprinted with during the time that we're born until about 7 or 8 years old. When we grow up in an environment that makes us feel unsafe, and this could be because we are abused, we are neglected, we feel like we're not receiving love from our parents or our caregivers, all of these things cause us to be in a state of stress. All of these experiences that we go through as children are imprinting us and shaping us and are going to determine our default nervous system. Because when we're young, during the ages, once again, of conception until about 7 or 8 years old, we are absorbing our environment. Kids are literally like a sponge. So how the parents act, they're going to model after. The things that we're around, we're going to take in as truth, because there is no filter between what is real and what is not real. This is why it is very important for us to be aware of the type of environment that we were around when we were younger, because we're going to be able to understand and recognize the certain patterning and the limiting beliefs that have shaped our life, especially early in our childhood. And when we become aware of these things, we can then change them. That is why learning about the subconscious, learning about limiting beliefs, and doing shadow work is so impactful in our life, because we can start to remove and uproot the things that are not serving us in our life. What happens is, after 7 and 8 years old, our brain starts to develop more of our conscious mind. This is when we start to be able to make our own decisions, and we start to recognize that we are coming into more of a sense of identity within ourselves. So we're taking those first 7 or 8 years of life and turning that into our belief system and kind of going out and living that out in the world. This is why we see a lot of teenagers and younger adults going through such a rough time, especially if they've had traumatic pasts and abuse in their childhood, because this is the time that the subconscious is now going to reenact those belief systems in our external environment. This is where we start to see people who live in chronic stress, people who have lots of disease, people who can't tend to have healthy relationships. All of these things stem back to that initial programming. And to touch on more specifically, when it comes to the nervous system, because of that unsafety in our early childhood, that actually carries over into our adulthood. So you can't expect to have traumatic experiences, unsafety, and a dysregulated nervous system and expect to just magically be healed and okay in older age. So the way that we can heal this, or that we can change this, is by, first of all, recognizing and acknowledging that we did have abuse, trauma, or whatever experiences in our childhood that did shape us into who we are now today. There's no shame, there's no guilt. Remove all of those labels and just accept where you are. With that knowledge, now we can ask ourselves, how can I heal my nervous system? And the answer to this is by regulating, by relaxing, and allowing our body to become more familiar with a state of ease than a state of stress. Because we are so familiar with a stressful state of being when you're growing up in any sort of household that felt unsafe, our nervous system in our body becomes more safe in a state of stress than in a state of ease and relaxation. So because of this, we have to make ourselves more familiar with being in a state of calm, in a state of relaxation, and in a state of ease. And we do this, of course, just like changing any habit, and that is through repetition, and also being aware that when we change any habit, even if it is for our benefit and even if it is a good thing, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. So let me give you guys a couple things that are really going to help you regulate your nervous system and also bring you more relaxation and ease in your life. The first one is becoming aware of our breath. And I know that people hear this all the time when they're like, oh yeah, take a deep breath when you're freaking out. The reason why this is so important is because our breath is directly connected to our nervous system. So the more that we can take conscious, intentional deep breaths, it's going to literally calm the nervous system down. So doing things like deep breathing, breathwork exercises, of course, even just exercise in general, and things like yoga, exercise in terms of like working out, weightlifting, or going on walks, things like that, because what it does is it gives us more oxygen and helps us get in more breaths that helps us ease and regulate our nervous system. The next thing I want to touch on is movement in general. What happens is when we move our body, we're actually helping release energy, and emotion is energy in motion. So the more that we're able to move our bodies during the day, we're going to actually help ourselves release any stuck energy that is within us. So it is very healthy to have some sort of routine in your life that allows you to move, whether it be going on a walk every day, doing yoga, going to the gym. Obviously this is your choice, but just make sure that you're moving, because that's going to help you manage those stressful emotions by getting them out of the body. And then, like I said, make sure that you're implementing a practice that allows you to relax. And of course, this can look like yoga, this can look like meditation. For some people, this might even be getting a massage, some form of self-care, because the more that we can have our body in a state of relaxation, this is going to familiarize the nervous system with being in a state of calm instead of a place of stress. One more thing that I want to mention when it comes to regulating our nervous system is making sure that we're staying away from substances and foods that cause us to feel anxious, that cause us to feel depressed, and things that really do affect us on an internal level. I'll give you an example of this. Things like alcohol and nicotine and drugs, those things are not natural for our body, and those can cause an artificial sense of stress and anxiety in our body. So the more that you can remove things like that from your daily life, the better you're gonna feel. Stick to, a healthier way of eating, making sure that you're staying very hydrated. Even adding in supplements and vitamins into your diet can actually help soothe your nervous system. And I'll give you guys a few recommendations. The first one is ashwagandha. This is a great adaptogenic herb that helps calm the nervous system. A couple other great ones are rhodiola, and adaptogenic mushrooms are also great for helping repair our neurotransmitters and helping us produce more of those happy hormones. Some other great ones are 5-HTP. This is a great one for helping us produce more serotonin and dopamine in the brain, which of course is going to help us have a happier mood. So I hope you guys love this video. If you want to see more content like this from me, you can comment below, like the video because it does support my channel, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye.